Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. TGD Radio presents Golf Rap, sponsored by Myrtle Beach Golf Authority.
Let's go while we're young.
So who's the host of this show?
He's the senior TGD golf analyst. He's a former touring pro, a current teaching pro. He will teach for food. Hugh Royer III.
Oh, this is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Oh, it looks good on you, though.
What about that guy that calls himself the Godfather?
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr. He was like a god walking amongst mere mortals.
I look good. I mean, really good. Hey, everyone! Come and see how good I look!
He refers to himself as the Godfather.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
He spends more time on his hair than on the golf course.
How's my hair?
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
If you need a gym card, he's got one. He is George Honeycutt, the Godfather.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday Morning Golf Wrap here with George and Hugh. We want to welcome you, of course, being sponsored by the Myrtle Beach Golf Authority, your number one source for memorable golf packages here in the Myrtle Beach area. You can get in touch with Myrtle Beach Golf Authority, of course, with Kathy or at Karen at 888-272-7263 or myrtle-beachgolf.com. Hugh, a lot going on this weekend. We've got one tournament. We've got that rare occasion where we get together on Monday morning and there's still a tournament going on.
Oh, yeah.
We don't get that too often.
That weather in Florida in the springtime, George, a little crazy. But, pretty good finish coming up, it looks like.
Well, it does look like that. We just noticed live broadcast here on the Golf Channel, of course. We just noticed that Ian Poulter makes a quad, and so that pretty much takes him. He drops back to 3 under par, and that takes him pretty much out of the tournament. So it's now basically down to someone that we never even computed that would be a part of this, and that's Padraig Harrington and Patrick Reed.
Reed and Padraig both just made birdie. So
Jeff's other adopted son.
That's 4 in a row for Padraig. So we got some pretty good shootout. And then you got Berger sitting there at 64 today. At 6 under par, sitting in waiting to see what they do coming in on the final bear trap.
Well, Berger, of course, makes the green in 2 on 18. Has a really good run at Eagle, ends up just below the cup, a couple of inches out on the left. It didn't fall in, but he makes birdie and finishes, as you said, 64, and he is in the clubhouse at 6 under par. So I think that's a good number, considering that the last group now is headed into the bear trap and working its way through there.
I tell you what, George, we were sitting over at Possum Trot the other day watching on Thursday, and I tell you what, there was more laughter going on in that place. From all the balls in the water and the left, and it's just hard golf. I mean, they're just hard holes, and when the weather, today it looks like it's calm and perfect, but when that wind was blowing, boy, it was comical.
Well, the co-leaders are on 15 now, so if you want to catch the coverage, you can jump over to the Golf Channel, but don't leave us. Of course, we'll carry you through it as it progresses here during our broadcast. Let's bring everybody up to speed that other tournaments that occurred over the weekend. Of course, we mentioned it last week, the Joe Berg Open, one of your spots, Hugh, that you have experience at. And interestingly, Mr. Andy Sullivan comes in, 28 years old. He picks up his second win in 2 months on the European Tour, and he also qualifies for the Open Championship at St. Andrews. So Andy Sullivan ends up with this win. He was 3 shots back starting the 4th round, Hugh, and ends up shooting 66 to win by 2. So congratulations to Andy Sullivan. And also qualifying for the British Open through this event was David Howell and Anthony Wall. So those 3 qualify for the Open Championship at St. Andrews.
Pretty impressive. I mean, I was, honestly, George, I've got to tell you, I was pulling for Charles Schwartzel, but him shooting 74 the last day pretty much, is what put him in the playoff because, the tournament was his to win. And going out and shooting 74 the final round just is not going to get it done.
Well, the course was playing spectacularly. They had a great time. The weather was not a factor at all. It was just beautiful conditions for them. And hats off to Andy Sullivan. I mean, he comes from 3 shots back starting the 4th round and ends up taking this thing by 2. Solid play. Hats off to him, his second win in 2 months, as I mentioned. And he is now headed off to the Open Championship at St. Andrews. So you couldn't ask for a better day than that. Win a sizable check, and then, of course, get your invitation to the Open Championship.
Yeah, go play St. Andrews. You can't argue with that at all.
Can't argue with that. No. The Honda company as a whole, of course, they are sponsoring the current PGA Tour event that is going on. And they also were sponsoring the LPGA Tour event in Thailand at Siam Country Club. And one Miss Amy Yang just literally comes out from nowhere, and she comes and ends up shooting, ends up with a 15 under par, wins by 2 over Lee and Singh, and one Stacy Lewis, who after the first 2 days, Hugh, you watched Stacy on Thursday and Friday, and my goodness, I mean, she was running away with it with 63-64. Yeah, absolutely. Just it looked like she was on a different planet than everybody.
Yeah, it just almost makes you wonder. Did she get into something that didn't agree with her? Maybe get a little sick. You don't never know.
I didn't think about that.
But I mean, Yanni Sang. I mean, where's she been? Look at how she bookmarks. A 72 and a 70 with a 66 and a 67. So
right.
It's nice to see the girls doing the things they do. I mean, Suzanne Pedersen, other than her second round shooting 75. Pair of 67s and a 68. She bookends it with 67s. Pretty good play.
Well, Amy, it ends up, still coming down the stretch, especially with Stacy. I mean, she had shot so low in the first couple of days that she had, put herself so many under par that the others were just trying to catch up. And then on 14 in the final round, she makes a double, and Amy Yang ends up birdieing a big 3-shot swing. And so thusly, that was kind of the end of the end. So, and Stacy just didn't seem to be able to get it in the hole. We just saw Patrick Reed live go into the water on 15. So now he'll be playing his third onto the green from the drop area, and hopefully be able to get out of there. If he doesn't chip it in for 3, get out of there with as little as a bogey.
It's just a mistake you cannot make when you got the lead. You're tied for the lead.
I think I'd be adding a half a club, don't you think?
I'd put it on dry land somewhere and take my
Even
chances.
if it's in the bunker back left, you get it on dry land.
You get it yeah. Take the double out of the picture.
Take the double out of the picture, exactly. So congratulations to Amy Yang, of course, several-time winner on the LPGA Tour, really kind of one of the quote-unquote more experienced gals out there. Yep. So, and of course, almost like a home tournament for her, a huge gallery following her during her round. And, of course, they're all cheering her on. And I think that helped to boost her along also. So this is Amy's actually third top 5 finish in the last 4 events. So strong play from her of late. And, again, if not for that 3-shot swing, would Stacy have ended up winning this thing? I doubt it. Amy was playing pretty well.
I mean, you make a double and somebody makes a birdie, it's game over. I mean, that's just showing your hand in the poker table before you get there, and you just can't make those kind of mistakes.
Let's again catch everybody up here on the Honda Classic, of course, going on right now as we speak. The final round, they were postponed, or they actually got in as many holes as they could yesterday. But, however, the weather has dictated play down there. Interestingly, they are looking to get done with this tournament this morning. There's a few of them that are jumping on a plane, Hugh, and it was talked about briefly early this morning. Steve Sands had mentioned this earlier, but 4 of the gentlemen that are actually playing in this event are headed up to Augusta for a practice round tomorrow.
Okay.
And so that would be one, Phil Mickelson, and he is going up with Ricky Fowler, and they are taking Brooks Koepka.
Smart.
Yep. And there was one other individual, and I'm trying to think of his name. I had got CRS right now.
Yeah.
But they've already got the pairing set up, evidently, and they've got a little match set up. So evidently they've taken a charter. They're flying out of – they're going to go ahead and go over this afternoon and check in at Trump at Doral. And then they're taking the charter out tomorrow, heading up to Augusta, play their little 18-hole match, and then evidently come back. And for Brooks, this is going to be his first look at Augusta National.
It's going to be a scary thought for a rookie going in there with those guys and their little match and whatnot. They could get expensive.
I remember the 4th, Ben Crane.
Yeah.
Ben Crane being the 4th. So it's Ricky, Ben, of course, Phil, and Brooks Koepka. And, again, they have their own little match. And so it's, you have to wonder if this is Another Brooks, you're fully expected to be Ryder Cup. You're fully expected to be now part of the crew, being FedEx Cup champ, things of that sort. And then, let Phil, the old head, with 3 green jackets, take you out and show you around Augusta National.
Ought to be interesting.
So, and then, of course, it's great to see Phil and Ricky and being so out there moseying around. I'm kind of surprised Bubba's not going. But then again, Bubba doesn't get into much of that. So,
George, that was a waste of a breath, bro.
Yeah. So, again, let's give you an update. Patrick Harrington's at 7 under par. Patrick Reed's at 7 under, but he has gone in the water on 15.
Got it about 18 feet for a bogey, so.
Fully expect probably worst a bogey, but more than likely a double bogey.
Yeah.
So that'll move him back to 5 under. Below Daniel Berger again, who is in at 6 under par. He's finished for the day with a outstanding 64. Paul Casey is still in the hunt somewhat.
But he's hit it left in the deep rough left of the green on 18 and 2 and doesn't look like he has a real good lie. So this could be a difficult shot. Then again, it might make it easier too. You just don't know until you see the situation.
Back-to-back weeks, Hugh. Paul last week ends up in the quote-unquote playoff at Riviera. And now here he is back again at the top of the leaderboard a second week running. Congratulations to Mr. Casey for making this comeback.
Oh, no, he's played fantastic. I mean, he kind of fell off the map, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's right back in the pictures again. So whatever he and Peter Costa's been working on and doing, it's obviously working and paying off for him.
Well, his last win was a year ago on the European Tour, so it's been quite some time since he's had any kind of showing on the PGA Tour. So, but now he's fully dedicated to the PGA Tour. He's not going back to the European Tour. He's dedicated this entire year to the PGA Tour. And so, hats off to him. He's made a recommitment. And so, again, he's at 5 under par. Jamie Donaldson has made a move today with a 66. He finishes at 4 under. Luke Donald has been literally, folks, I never saw him. I didn't even think about Luke for fantasy golf, but he comes out and shoots 69, 67. Then he posts a 74 yesterday, and today he has been absolutely all over this golf course, the Bear Trap. And he had one so far left that evidently it went into a subdivision, went across the street, hit the roof of a house, ricocheted back across the street, back onto the golf course, and somehow he ended up making par.
And he's still tied for 5th place at 4 under par with 2 holes to go.
Yeah, that was – I mean, when I saw him hit the shot, I said, that's double bogey right there. So, but again, the ball bounces luckily back into play, and he ends up making par. Russell Knox, 4 under. He's still out on the golf course. Jeff Overton at 3 under with his closing 69. Brandon Steele. And, of course, we mentioned one, Ian Poulter. Ian opened with a 71, shot 64 in the second round, 66 in the third round, and we've seen him now drop from literally 7 under par at one point in time down to -3. I hope that he stops the bleeding somehow. I mean, this is still going to be, he can finish at -3, still finish in the top 10. At he'll be tied for 7th now.
It just, I like I said earlier, George, I like the guy. I mean, he's flashy. He wears the clothes. Good golf swing. But I mean, it's like as soon as the bell rings, you just don't know who's going to show up. He hasn't been able to close.
We saw in his third round, Patrick Reed here, 18 feet for bogey. He comes up just short, 6 inches short in the heart. But he'll make double bogey on 15. So Patrick Reed drops 2 shots and will fall back to 5 under par. Patrick cleans up. That leaves Padraig Harrington at 7 under par through 14. And again, Berger in the clubhouse at 6 under. So Berger ought to go ahead and head out to the driving range. I think he needs to stay limbered up.
I'd give a couple more minutes. Let's see what happens at the next hole.
Luke Donald.
That's left.
Hard left. Yeah.
You don't lay it like that. And
wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting. That was Luke has a tendency of really pulling into the shot at impact.
Yeah.
And so thusly it goes left with a little draw.
I mean, look at this. Harrington's got it 6-8 feet right here. 6 about 8 feet for birdie here at 15. So I mean, this could give him a 2-shot lead. If he makes this, I'd say Katie bar the door.
But folks, we've been watching. Hugh and I both been following up on round 3, round 4. Padraig's putting has been not horrible, but not good. And again, here he expects it to move a little bit right. I think that was a little bit of a pull. But, again, it slides right by the left lip. He'll tap in for par, leaving 15 again at 7 under, where Patrick Reed drops back to 5 under par. Paul Casey, I don't think he's found but one fairway today. He has driven the ball horribly since going back out on the course this morning at 8 o'clock. And, again, he finds himself probably in some of the deeper stuff out there.
Yeah, he's got plenty of green to work with, though, if he plays it correctly. Oh, boy, it hit soft coming out
Yeah,
of
it sure
there.
did. It really caught a lot of grip out of that heavier rough. The fertilizer they put on the rough this year, Hugh, I mean, some of that stuff is 3, 4, 5 inches thick.
Yeah,
so
that's some pretty good stuff. Plus, I mean, you know, the rain and stuff that they've obviously have in South Florida makes it a little different too. But interesting to say the least. And I mean, just to watch these guys come through these last few holes, wow, what a shot right there.
Excellent shot by Russell Knox. He sticks it in to about 7, 8 feet, and he'll have a great birdie opportunity. He's at 3 under par. Ian Poulter for par at 15. He's at 3 under, of course. Smooth stroke, center cut. So he walks off of 15 at 3 under. Again, Patrick Harrington. Who would imagine?
No, if he made that putt right there, it's over. It would have been over. I mean, that just was kind of an iffy stroke, and I know he struggled with his putting this week. They said yesterday, you know, he really couldn't find water off, putting off the bow of the Titanic.
Of course, they got weather delayed, lengthy time for electrical storms. But I watched Padraig yesterday, Hugh, and for the roughly 5 holes that they were out trying to finish this 4th round, the 5 holes, I mean, literally, he was picking his putter up off the ground almost 6 inches on his initial movement away from the ball.
Wow.
I mean, it was just so unorthodox, and he looked so uncomfortable with that short stick in his hand. You know, I was wondering if he was even going to be able to finish.
Yeah.
You were sitting there going, man, has he all of a sudden developed the yips, much like Poulter's developed the shanks?
Yeah.
So,
well, I tell you what, George, I'm curious to watch what's going to happen with the Caddy Association and the tour now.
Why is that?
Well, you know, they've started the lawsuit against the tour for the bibs that they wear because they don't get a cut off of the sponsor
which we
money.
said would move on until the caddies requested disclosure and started getting into the documents in the tour.
Well, this week apparently players went in the clubhouse, patrons, whatever could go. The caddies over near the caddy trailer where you get breakfast and lunch and they serve food that travels from event to event for the caddies. They had to stand. The caddies were in a metal building with lightning
during the electrical storm.
And tweets and Facebook posts, people just really upset.
Were
caddies.
they put there by the tournament organizers, or were they put there by the tour?
Well, it doesn't matter. Tournament organizers or tour, they're not allowed in the clubhouse, and they were not allowed, a safe place to go, and they put them in a metal, basically a cart barn or a cart building or whatever. And
in other words, a conduit during a electrical storm.
Yeah, he said one of the caddies said, "What's it going to take for one of us to get struck by lightning for the tour to actually understand, what they're doing?" I mean, there was another one I believe that said, we're being treated like second-class citizens, and we're the ones out here doing the work. And I don't argue with them one bit. I think if it comes to something like that.
But let me ask you. I mean, you've been in that realm. You've been at all these tournaments. Why wouldn't they just let them go in the locker room? Why won't they just let them go into the grill room or something of that sort?
Or create another place in the clubhouse to where it's for the caddies.
I mean, all these places are opulent. They've all got ballrooms. They've all got dance floors. They've all got whatever.
Yeah.
You could put them in there. I mean, I don't understand. Is it just purely, you filed this suit, so now we're going to treat you like even more?
No, it's been this way for years.
I know,
is no different.
But I'm just saying, don't they realize now that items like that are going to be critical in the public eye?
Well, and do they not realize that with social media and telephones and computers and iPads and whatever else that this stuff's going to come out?
Well,
I mean, this right here is going to do nothing but just add ammo to the already existing lawsuit. That's the way I look at it. And the caddies they're going to end up getting what you're talking about, getting a place in the clubhouse during these situations.
Mm-hmm.
A place to where they're treated more like, citizens instead of, gophers.
Right.
And I think that's where it's going to end up going, and it's going to cost the tour not only money but public embarrassment.
Right. Patrick Reed teeing off on 16 with an iron, interestingly. He is +1 for the day. Again, he pulls it left over by the gallery. We just saw another shot into the gallery by Padraig Harrington. So
now, no offense, George, an iron and you miss the fairway that far left, and that's not a narrow fairway.
No, it's not. And he plays a natural right to left ball, so he should have just took it at the edge of the bunker on the right hand side
he's hitting
and
3
just
iron,
drew it
probably.
back in. So, but he didn't. He is left of left, and he's over by the cart path. So, thusly, again, finding himself into the rough. Harrington, can he pull it off, Hugh? Can he
yes.
keep his
Willie? I don't know. Like you said, it depends on this putter. Because this hole right here, he hit a pretty good tee shot here. He put it in the right side of the fairway, in the fairway. It's the next hole's the one that we're going to find out. Well, 17 is not easy.
17's not easy, and 18's really not a birdie hole either. Especially where they have the pin.
Well, if you've got a one-shot lead, all you got to do is hit something off the tee, hit something down there, knock it on the green, 2-putt, and get out.
That's right, but the pin is kind of in that cumbersome over there, front right of the bunker, and so you're probably going to end up, let's say, keeping it 20 feet left with your approach at your third, your approach shot, and then hope that a birdie putt falls. More than likely tap in par. So if he's back at 6 under. Is he going to try to get risky and go for it and push it off into the water?
All I can tell you is if he gets there and he's at 7 under and he doesn't hit an iron and then a 9-iron or something in there,
right,
the man needs to have his brain checked.
You think I'm just wondering if he doesn't go into 18 actually tied with Berger at 6 under.
I think it's highly possible. Like I said, 17 is a beast. That is an intimidating golf shot.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
although weather's not a factor today, there's a wisp of wind.
Yeah.
Literally, if it gusts to 3 miles per hour. So there's really no wind. It's beautiful. The temperature is fantastic. It's sunny. And the golf course they're playing lift, clean, and cheat. So,
yeah.
they don't have to worry about lies.
Yeah.
So
we'll just have to see. Like I said, if he gets to 18 and he's got a one-shot lead and he hits anything other than iron off the tee, then there's something wrong with him.
Again, Palm Beach Gardens is the site of the Honda Classic, ongoing final round, and we have been trying to help you with a little bit of coverage here in the final round. Padraig Harrington, 7 under par through 15. Daniel Berger in the clubhouse, closing round 64. Impressive playing for this young man who I have heard now for about 12 holes, Johnny Miller rip his swing apart. And I'm sitting here going, okay, Johnny, why do you feel like you need to climb all over this kid's swing when he can bomb it out there? He's pretty straight, and he's got a real master's touch already with hands.
Yeah. So Johnny Miller used to, every time he hit a ball, his feet never touched the ground. So, it's the pot calling the kettle black.
Calling the kettle black, exactly. That's exactly the way I was going with that. Again, but Daniel Berger in the clubhouse at 6 under par. Russell Knox has just made birdie. He now goes out of 17 onto 18, having made birdie, goes to 4 under par. Right now, 3 behind the leader. But, however, as we mentioned, Reed on 16, he's coming from 222 out of heavy rough. He's got water on the right. He's got a sliver of a bailout area left of the green, short left. Do you go ahead and just blow it at the green and hope it gets in that bunker? Or, do you see him getting enough club head on this shot?
You can look at his face right there, and he's like, this thing ain't going to jump. I can't get to it enough to make it jump. And from 222, it better do some serious jumping.
And he just ends up coming up short on 15, of course. Throwing it into the water, costing him a double bogey. So if there's ever a club selection that has got to be in his mind right now, it's this one here.
And this, folks, is where, a player is honestly trying to hit a flyer or a jumper or a shooter, as you've heard. They're trying to get the ball to knuckle so it goes further and they can take less club with more loft and get it in the air.
So why not take the conservative approach and assume it's not going to knuckle?
Well, look at this. He's got a hybrid of some sort in his hand.
Good.
I mean,
that's where I'm going. Why not take enough club? If you're over, you're over. That's fine.
Here's the thing. That may not go through this rough, and it may not even get to halfway there.
Good point,
I
too.
mean, this right here, you talk about gambling. This is gambling.
Well, again, he's in the heavier rough, easily 2 inches plus. He hit an iron off the tee box on 16, and again
he can't pull the trigger.
He
George.
can't pull it.
He cannot pull the trigger. He's knowing good and well, dude. You need to lay up, but I can't. And it's just he's going to make a mistake.
And really, this whole 16 is not there. There's really not much room to lay up, Hugh. The way the pond cuts into the playable ground area there, he can go back and lay up at about 110 out. Okay, he's going to go ahead and step in now with the hybrid.
He's got 220 something in here.
222.
And he hit an iron off the tee. I mean, why not just hit it? If you're going to hit it,
that has to hook. It needs to come around.
That's a good shot. That is well done. I mean, he's got it there just short of the green. He's got plenty of room, plenty of green to.
He ends up about 12 yards off the front left side of the green.
I'm not kidding you. I didn't think he had a chance of getting it over the water, George, much less anywhere close to the green. I mean, he just hit a heck of a golf shot.
He came out with a low stinger, and I mean, if that thing bounces right just a little bit, Hugh, it goes ahead and rolls up and takes the ridge and ends up in the center part of the green. So Patrick Reed makes a really good shot with a hybrid out of the deeper rough on 16 after hitting a conservative iron off the box. And so hats off to Reed. I'm glad he went back and got more club.
I agree with you. Now, like again, here the pin's back right over there. If Harrington is hitting anywhere other than that camera in the corner of the grandstand back there, the man's on drugs. I mean, you don't even look at that flagstick. Hit it 20 feet, make your par, and get out.
Well, again, Padraig's been playing good golf this week. It's good to see. He's definitely fallen off of late. He has issues with his putter. He's had issues with his driver. And so, but here he is in the lead at the Honda Classic.
That's left.
And he takes an iron from the fairway, hits it a little bit long.
But
safe shot.
Not bad.
Safe shot.
That's right where we were talking
he's
about.
acting like he's upset, but in actuality, he's also taking the deep breath now that he hasn't taken in 45 seconds. So he is now just off the back side of the green. He is in the first cut of collar, and he's basically showing disgust, but that is more like okay, I made it over, and maybe I took too much club, but I just wanted to make sure that this thing got up there to where I could put a putter on it.
Exactly.
So he'll end up having a downhill putt of about 35 feet for his quote unquote birdie. Is more likely a tap in par that we'll expect to see from Padraig Harrington coming off of 16. Well, Hugh, I'd love to continue this coverage, but we probably need to wrap things up here on Monday Morning Golf Wrap. So, again, we'll bring you the follow-up highlight to what happened at this event coming up later on TGD Today. Of course, the golf director today. And I want to thank the Myrtle Beach Golf Authority for sponsoring the Monday Morning Golf Wrap. Of course, you can contact Kathy or Karen at 888-272-7263, or you can reach them on the internet at myrtle-beachgolf.com. For Hugh and George, we want to thank you for joining us and remind you that TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course condition specials and much more. Hey, need help with your next golf vacation? You can just call Dave. Give us a call here at 844-GO-GOLF-1. That's 844-464-6531. All of our programming here at TGD is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, click on the TGD Radio and the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Ucrew, Blueberry, and Myrtle Beach Golf app. For George and Hugh and our producer behind the glass, we thank you for tuning in. There's more golf news and information coming up next.